Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have some pretty big news that has happened this week. You might have heard we've got two pretty huge stories. We've got TaylorMade Golf being sold for almost $2 billion to a Korean-based investment firm, and we have Jordan Spieth confirmed that he has had coronavirus the last few weeks. So let's dive straight in. First of all, we're going to take a look at the TaylorMade story. So the stories come out this week that TaylorMade Golf will be acquired by Korean investment consortium Centroid Investment Partners, according to an announcement from the company. TaylorMade's current financial sponsor, KPS Capital Partners, signed the definitive agreement to sell the company it acquired in 2017. So if you aren't aware, KPS originally bought TaylorMade from Adidas for $425 million. So they're only selling it 4 years later, and KPS do have a history of buying companies, strengthening them, and then selling them on for a profit. That's kind of what they do. So while terms of the Centroid deal were not disclosed, the estimated price is between 1.5 and 2 billion US dollars. That is a pretty significant growth in just a 4-year period. Now, TaylorMade do seem to go from strength to strength in the golf industry. I believe they are now the biggest golf brand in the golf industry, and in the last year, in 2020, they had profits of over $100 million. That's before taxes. So Centroid was one of 3 entities on the short list in the final bidding for the Carlsbad, California-based company. One of the game's top-selling brands of clubs and golf balls, according to reports from Korea-based Pulse Media. Centroid Investment Partners is a mid-sized private equity fund established in 2015. It recently acquired luxury golf club South Springs Country Club outside of Seoul, for $171 million. So the Pulse story indicated that TaylorMade, which currently has many of the game's top-ranked players on its staff, we all know this, Dustin Johnson, Tiger Woods, Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, all of these guys, they made around $100 million US dollars in annual earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization in 2020, and noted that a typical valuation for similar companies is 14 to 20 times that figure of their annual profits. Morgan Stanley, which was apparently conducting the sale for KPS Partners, and a New York Times report in February indicated that the asking price for TaylorMade was $2 billion. According to Pulse, Centroid reportedly was seeking to form a consortium with other strategic investors in Korea to win the TaylorMade deal. Multiple names from the fashion and golf sectors are said to have shown interest. So obviously, they've put this company, TaylorMade, on the market, and they've got a huge amount of interest, which is not surprising considering, one, how fast they've grown the last few years, the success they've been having, the profits they've been turning over. I do think, when we heard TaylorMade was being bought from Adidas, who obviously, kind of started it really, and, then we're being sold to another company, I think it made us all worry a little bit that, what are the products going to be like? What effect is it going to have on the company? But actually, my own personal experience through the last few years, I think TaylorMade has just gone from strength to strength. They seem to be a much more tightly knit company now. They've invested huge amounts in their, product production, the kind of marketing and media, the whole way the company works, the processes, the manufacturing, everything like that. It's pretty impressive. So A report from Capital Connect, which covers the Korean investment community, notes the golf industry has been Centroid's main focus since 2018. It had tried to buy another luxury golf club before the South Springs deal, but now plans to expand South Springs with an additional 9 holes, developing logistics, warehouses and resorts on the remaining empty land. The decision by KPS to sell TaylorMade is not a surprise. The investment firm has a proven record of acquiring brands, strengthening them and selling them for a profit. In the past, it has doubled its investment in buying the struggling Genesee beer brand and eventually selling it for $388 million. Although KPS traditionally has kept its companies for 5 to 7 years, the 4-year turnaround was likely accelerated by golf's tremendous growth despite the pandemic, including the largest quarter in equipment sales ever other than at the start of Tiger Woods' career. The deal also would make TaylorMade the second major golf equipment manufacturer to be owned by a Korea-based firm. Fila Korea Limited purchased Titleist FootJoy parent Acushnet for $1.3 billion in 2011. Now that was quite interesting to me because Acushnet sold for $1.3 billion in 2011, and in 2017 TaylorMade sold for just, what was it, 417 million, 425 million. That is, pretty incredible to show how much bigger Acushnet and Titleist used to be than TaylorMade, and it would be really interesting now to know which is the more valuable company. I would say they might be quite even, to be honest. Obviously, TaylorMade has grown a lot faster the last few years, but you'd have to say they could be quite even at the moment. So the CEO of TaylorMade, David Abels, called the deal with Centroid a very important milestone as we continue to build upon our brand's momentum around the world. Our partnership with KPS has been extraordinary, Abel said in a statement. From the beginning, KPS had the vision to recognize the strength and potential of the TaylorMade brand and business under KPS's ownership. TaylorMade has become a far better company by investing in our operations, product technology pathways, product development processes, and importantly, in our people. TaylorMade Golf has never been better positioned in future growth than we are today. So that's the TaylorMade story. Now, a few of you might be wondering, what does it mean for us? How is the company going to change? How are the golf clubs going to change now that it's under different ownership? And to be honest, I wouldn't expect too much to change. Obviously, it's already proving to be a successful business. Yes, Centroid might have some ideas in terms of where they want to go with the business side of things, maybe how they want to position themselves in the marketplace, some overall general kind of business strategies. But overall, I wouldn't expect them to change a huge amount. This is a company that is already growing at a huge rate. Why would you really, change that much? So I was a little bit disappointed when I first heard of it, but yeah, I think it should be fine. I don't really think it should have any major effect. I certainly hope not. I think if they did try to change anything, if they tried to change their position in the marketplace in terms of the price of their clubs or anything like that, or any huge changes, I think it could be disastrous and could see the TaylorMade's business decline quite rapidly. But I wouldn't expect that to happen. So now let's talk about Jordan Spieth. So the last time we saw Jordan Spieth before this week was at the 2021 Masters Championship, where he finished third. And it has been confirmed that Jordan Spieth, after the Masters, he was actually planning to play. So Jordan Spieth revealed he was forced to miss the Valspar Championship after testing positive for COVID-19 last month. Jordan Spieth is back in action this week for the first time since the Masters, revealed his extended absence was due to him testing positive for COVID-19. So Spieth was absent from the PGA Tour since finishing tied third at the Masters, but he admittedly had not intended to take a month off and was scheduled to play at the Innisbrook Resort in Palm Harbor. But he began to feel coronavirus symptoms the week before heading to Florida, and after returning 3 positive tests, he self-isolated away from his family at his Texas home. Spieth insisted he is now fit and healthy, although he is wary of his game being rusty as he returns to action in this week's AT&T Byron Nelson at TPC Craig Ranch. He says, I took a week off after the Masters and then I ended up actually getting COVID. So then I was out for a little while longer, he explained. So I'm kind of just starting to get back to it the last week or so and kind of get back on track. I've only played a couple of rounds, and so I'm looking to kind of maybe knock a little rust off that I didn't know had been necessarily there. But yeah, I feel good, I feel strong, I feel ready to go for a good stretch of golf coming up. I'm not sure when I got it, to be honest, because nobody I was around ever got it. It was the Tuesday of New Orleans when I started feeling my symptoms, and it was bad for a day and a half, and then it was just kind of annoying for the next 5 days, loss of energy and sinus stuff. And Spieth goes on to say, and then after that I started to get full strength back, and I would say the last week to week and a half now, I've been acting as if it never happened. I've just gone about my days and feeling full energy, being able to hit kind of full workouts and practice sessions, all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of set me back a little. It was actually, I guess, if there's ever a good time during the season, it kind of worked out okay. But I was planning on continuing to play. I wasn't planning to take a month off in the spring. So at this point, it's get back to playing golf and try and get in the same rhythm I was in and just kind of be patient with it. Apparently Spieth was quite disappointed to miss the Valspar because he has obviously won that tournament in 2015 and he really likes the course there. He also wanted to play at Quail Hollow last week, but he kind of decided to take a little bit longer off and give himself a bit more time to practice, prepare, build his strength back. He says, I've had a lot of success at the Valspar. I like the golf course there, so I was really bummed. It was tough watching it, knowing I could have been playing well, and I would go to a course that I like a lot, but that's unfortunately part of the world we live in right now. So I think I would have been 100%, so I don't think I would have been 100% last week. So I decided to wait until this week. I feel good. I've been able to do everything I can normally do the last week or so. So Jordan Spieth got coronavirus but seems to be okay now, fully recovered. It was quite interesting because obviously we didn't see him, for a month or so. And, I don't think it was that surprising to a lot of us because obviously he had a big run up to the Masters, winning, then the Masters, tied third, and, probably we all expected him to take a few weeks off. But, it does kind of show he was expected to take a week off, but wanted to continue that momentum of playing and practicing well. It will be interesting to see what effect it has on Jordan's game this week and next week. He just shot 9 under the first round this week of the AT&T Byron Nelson, so seemingly hasn't had much of effect, but maybe there might be some not so good rounds in there as well. You'd kind of expect that after not playing so much. He said he'd only played a couple of rounds really, and probably just getting back to practicing, building his full strength back up. Obviously he was in a terrific run of form coming into the Masters, that winning the week before the Masters and then having a great week at the Masters as well. So it will be exciting to see in the run-up to the PGA Championship next week how he can do this week, how he can do next week. I think he'll be slightly disappointed not to have continued that momentum. It could set him back a little bit. I think if he had been able to keep playing for the last few weeks, he'd probably be looking, he will still be one of the favourites, I think, for next week, but I think he probably would have felt more comfortable if he'd had maybe another couple tournaments under his belt and a little bit more momentum. It will be very interesting to see who's going to do really well at the PGA Championship next week. I have a sneaking suspicion I think Rory McIlroy will do very well. I think Spieth could do quite well as well. I probably will put a video out on who my bets would be early next week, so make sure you do subscribe to the channel and like this video and comment your thoughts down below, and keep an eye out for that video. I did it the week before the Masters. I know a lot of you guys enjoyed it. I kind of picked one favorite, one kind of middle odds, and one a little bit more of a long shot. It was quite fun. So guys, that's pretty much it for me today. That's what we've got in the world of golf this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Remember, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Lots more content coming out for you guys soon. I'll see you guys really soon. I hope you guys are having a great week, enjoying playing some golf. See you in the next one, guys. As always, grip it and rip it.